I still remember the exact moment my world shattered. The blast from that IED hit our convoy like thunder from hell. 1 second I was joking with my squad, the next everything went white. When I woke up in the hospital, half my body felt like it was on fire. Doctors said I was lucky to be alive. But luck felt like a cruel joke. My name is Elena. I was a combat medic in the army. I'd spent years putting other soldiers back together, running toward danger when everyone else ran away. I believed in duty, in honor, and most of all, in family. My mom, my dad, my older brother, they were supposed to be my anchor. The people who would stand by me no matter what. When the military called them, they flew out immediately. At least that's what they told me. I was lying in that hospital bed, barely able to move, tubes everywhere, when my mom walked in. She hugged me carefully and whispered, "We're here for you, sweetheart." For a few days, they sat by my side. My brother even cracked jokes like old times. I really thought this was going to bring us closer. But then the reality of my injuries started to sink in. Multiple surgeries. Permanent nerve damage. I would never walk the same again. The army was processing my medical retirement and combat-related compensation. It was a decent amount, enough to rebuild my life after everything I'd lost. That's when the visits slowly stopped. First it was, "Work is busy." Then radio silence. I remember calling my mom one night, voice shaking, telling her how scared I was about facing the rest of my life like this. She sounded distant. "We all have our own problems, Elena. You're strong. You'll figure it out." I didn't understand it then. But something had changed. The daughter they once loved was now a burden. What I didn't know was that while I was fighting for my life in recovery, my family was already making calculations. They saw the compensation coming. And they saw me as damaged goods. The real heartbreak came 6 months later. I was finally out of the hospital, living in a small apartment the VA helped me get. Every day was a battle, learning to walk with braces, dealing with the constant pain, fighting the nightmares that wouldn't let me sleep. I felt so alone. The friends I had in the service were scattered. And my family, they had completely disappeared. Then one afternoon, my phone rang. It was my brother. His voice was warm again, like nothing had happened. "Hey, sis, we've been thinking about you. We want to come visit. Make sure you're okay." I was shocked, but hopeful. Maybe they finally realized how much I needed them. They showed up that weekend, all of them. Mom brought my favorite casserole. Dad hugged me tight. For 2 days it felt like old times. We laughed. We cried. They listened to my stories from deployment. I opened up about how betrayed I felt when they pulled away. And then, on the last evening, they sat me down at the kitchen table. My mom took my hand and said, "Sweetheart, we've been struggling financially. Your father's hours got cut. Medical bills are piling up. We were wondering, since the army is giving you that combat pay, maybe you could help your family out. After all, we're blood." I froze. The warmth drained from my body. This wasn't a family visit. This was a transaction. My brother jumped in, "You know we were there for you in the beginning. It's only fair. You don't even have kids. What are you gonna do with all that money anyway?" I felt my heart crack wide open. These were the same people who left me when I was at my lowest. The same people who couldn't handle my scars, my wheelchair days, my broken spirit. Now that the money was real, they were back with their hands out. I asked them to leave that night. The arguments that followed were painful. My mom cried, saying I was selfish. My dad called me ungrateful. My brother accused me of choosing the army over family. The betrayal cut deeper than any explosion ever could. I had faced death in combat, but nothing prepared me for being abandoned by the people I trusted most. For weeks I spiraled. The loneliness was crushing. I questioned everything, my worth, my sacrifices, even why I fought for a country whose own citizens could treat me like this. I stopped answering their calls. I changed my number eventually. The pain turned into something else, something colder. A quiet resolve. I realized I had survived the blast. I had survived the surgeries. I would survive this too. But I wasn't going to let them destroy what was left of me. I made a decision. I hired a lawyer and made sure every penny of my combat compensation was protected. I set up a trust. I documented everything, the abandonment, the sudden interest in my money, the emotional manipulation. I wasn't going to use it against them in court, but I made sure they could never touch it. When they realized the money was out of reach, the mask fully came off. The angry messages started. The guilt trips. The public posts about how their wounded veteran daughter had abandoned the family. But I stayed silent. Then came the most satisfying part. A few months later, a local news station did a story on wounded veterans in our area. They reached out to me. I agreed to speak, not for sympathy, but to tell the truth. I shared my story without naming them directly, but anyone who knew our family could connect the dots. The response was overwhelming. Support poured in from strangers, other veterans, even people from our hometown. My family's reputation took a hit. Old friends distanced themselves. The community that once praised them for standing by their daughter now saw the truth. They tried to reach out one last time. My mom left a voicemail, voice breaking, "We're sorry. We were scared. Please don't do this to us." But it was too late. The damage they caused couldn't be undone with a simple apology. Today, I'm still healing. Some scars will never fade. But I've rebuilt my life step by step. I started a small support group for female veterans. I found new friends who truly see me. And most importantly, I found peace within myself. If there's one thing I've learned from all this, it's that blood doesn't always mean family. Real love doesn't disappear when you're broken and reappear when there's money involved. Sometimes the hardest revenge isn't loud or dramatic, it's simply choosing to thrive without the people who tried to break you. To anyone watching who's been betrayed by the ones who were supposed to love you, your worth is not defined by their abandonment. Your pain is valid. And your comeback? It will be your greatest victory. Thank you for being here with me. If this story touched you, please share it. You never know who needs to hear that they're not alone. Until next time, stay strong.